a being intimate and unnameable, a white compelling ecstasy and peace, felt in himself and all, and yet ungrasped because it is unknowable, approached and faded from his soul's pursuit, as if forever luring him beyond. That being is there, telling him, go, 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 go further, constantly. He approaches it, near it retreated. The moment you approach, it goes far away from you, goes far away from you. Far, it called him still. He is there, but still calling him, you see. Come, come, come. He approaches and he goes back. In other words, he is now being constantly pushed, pushed, pushed towards that unwavering. Because now he is free of that worst desire. Even that should not cling him and hold him back. You see. Nothing could satisfy but its delight. Its absence left the greatest actions dull. His presence, with the smallest seem divine. That is a miracle. It can. Its absence left the greatest actions dull. You might have achieved many, many great things, but if it is not present, it has no content, no value at all. It is not that precious at all. But the moment it is there, even small thing looks beautiful and mighty and splendid. You see. When it was there, the harsh abyss was filled. But when the uplifting deity withdrew, existence lost its aim in the inane. When that deity, that presence is not there, it is total void, total absence, void. The order of the immemorial planes, the godlike fullness of the instrument were turned to props of an impermanent scene. So the whole hierarchy of creation, they themselves look impermanent. You are there, nothing. They are not able to support you at all, you see. You are turned to props for an impermanent scene. You see the whole scaffolding which is there of all these planes of consciousness, the scaffolding itself looks fragile, impermanent. It can collapse any moment, as if. But who that mightiness was, he knew not yet. That is what he said. That is his pursuit. When it was there, no, nothing could hold. See, a being intimate and unnameable. Who is that being? A being intimate and unknowable. Who is that being? Who is that mightiness? Who that mightiness was, he knew not yet. Yes, that being I should know, I should get. Impalpable, yet filling all that is, it made and blotted out a million worlds. That being could really create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of worlds, and it can just dissolve them also. And took and lost 1,000 shapes and names. Everything can dissolve. It wore the guise of an indiscernible vast, or was a subtle kernel in the soul. That being, that mightiness he is describing, see. So, a distant greatness left it huge and dim. See, that being is there, but something is there behind it. In the background, there's something behind it. This being itself looks huge and dim. A mystic closeness shut it sweetly in. It seemed sometimes a figment or a robe. Even this being also looks sometimes in imagination, figment, a robe, and seemed sometimes his own colossal shade. Is it I who is casting the shadow and seeing that as a being? Is it my imagination, my shadow? That sometimes a giant doubt overshadowed his advance. So he is calling him, that being, yes, come, come, come. But still, is it my shadow or is something really there? Giant doubt, that is a shadow. Across a neutral, all supporting void, whose blankness nurses lone, immortal. Now this is the all-supporting void. This is the first nothingness. What we have got on the very first page of Savitri, between the first and the last nothingness, across and neutral, all-supporting void. It is that absolute which is supporting everything, whose blankness nurse his lone, immortal spirit, allude to some recondite supreme, aided, coerced by enigmatic power, aspiring and half sinking and above, invincibly he ascended without pause, still climbing, 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 because of the all-supporting void. Always a signless, vague immensity brooded without approach. Beyond response, he's not going to respond, condemning finite things to nothingness, fronting him with an incommensurable. Then, to the ascent, there came a mighty turn. He is climbing now into the beyond, you see. A mighty turn. A height was reached where nothing made could live. Nothing could exist there. Nothing. That is a very dangerous situation. That would mean total disappearance for this creation. A height was reached where nothing made could live. So you are on the peak of a mountain and everything will disappear from that. Totally creation. A line where every hope and search must cease near some intolerant, bare reality. So what are there now is only the bare reality, because nothing could survive, bare. Just pure reality, reality alone, the absolute alone. A zero, obviously is zero. A zero found pregnant with boundless change. That is the kind of a change it will bring about. On a dizzy verge where all disguises fail, and human mind must abdicate in light. Yes, all my faculties, they must get abandoned, get lost. Abdicate in light or die like a moth in the naked blaze of truth. So, the moth, it dies in the flame, in the lamp, it goes and merges in this manner. Or die like a moth in the naked blaze of truth. He stood compelled to a tremendous choice. What is the choice? Whether he would like to disappear into that or still be present. That is the choice. Must abdicate life or die like a moth in the naked blaze of truth. Disappear totally into that or stand up there. He stood compelled to a tremendous choice. Now here is the greatness of Ashwapati. He has to make a point, he has to make a decision now. Whether you want to disappear into that or still be present in this creation. He is reaching bare reality. Everything what is created will disappear into it. That is the nirvana, laya, total disappearance. All he had been and on towards which he grew must now be left behind. He had come up all the way. That must be left behind and disappear into that. He has climbed up. The world's desire, etc. Forget. Who cares about world's desire? Go and disappear into that. All he had been and all means all his siddhis which he has attained of Sachidananda also, he grew, must now be left behind. They must be left behind and disappear into the intolerant bare reality. Or else transformed into a self of that which has no name. You either disappear or transform all this into that. That is the choice he has to make. And the swabhava, the character, the nature of Ashwapati is entirely present in this. Ashwapati is not going to abandon this world. He is not going to disappear into that intolerant bare reality. His concern is transformed into a self of that which has no name. That is his concern. Alone. At the moment he is exercising the choices. He is weighing the choices, alternative, this or that. Alone and fronting an intangible force which offered nothing to the grasp of thought, his spirit faced the adventure of the inane. You disappear in the void. Inane, total void. Abandoned by the worlds of form, he strove. So there is a struggle in him, even at that point. Disappear or come back transformed for this world. A fruitful worldwide ignorance founded there. Yes, this worldwide ignorance was necessary until this point. You could climb up to that point, but that also now collapses. That ignorance which is holding him up, that also collapses. Thought's long, fast circling journey touch its close. And ineffective pause, the actor will. The will is also helpless. It cannot do anything at all now. The simple modes of being help no more. So all these names, forms, figures which are there all around, they are of no help, of no avail at all. The simple modes of being help no more. The structures nation builds collapsed, failed, collapsing, failed. Painted in luminous insufficiency. So all these objects, creations, etc., they are luminous, all right, but that is insufficient for him to give the clue. What should be done? In an abysmal lapse of all things built, transcending every perishable support, and joining at last its mighty origin. This separate self must melt. Ashwapati as an individual. Either he must melt, disappear, get dissolved, or be reborn into a truth beyond the mind's appeal. So either he must melt or be reborn. Reborn into a truth which is not graspable by mind at all. So that is the choice he has to exercise, because he has reached that point of bare reality, disappear or be here. Separate self must melt or be reborn into a truth beyond the mind's appeal. All glory of outline, sweetness of harmony, rejected like a grace of trivial notes. See, the music is very beautiful, very sweet and all that thing. But even that is rejected. No, no, no. It is not going to satisfy him at all. Rejected like a grace of trivial note. Expunged from brain silence, nude, austere, died into a fine and blissful nothingness. So what happens is only the nothingness now. Everything is gone. That is the nirvana of Ashwapati. That is the spiritual nirvana of Ashwapati. Spiritual nirvana of Ashwapati. Savitri's nirvana was to annul herself totally. The physical, the nature part of it which is there, that has to totally disappear. So that only God be. Here is the spiritual nirvana of Ashwapati. Everything has disappeared. Expunged from beings, silence, nude, austere, died. So there is a difference between the nirvana of Ashwapati and the nirvana of Savitri. The demiurges lost their names and form. Demiurges, the deities of Plato, who give rise to names and forms, who give rise to objects, who bring out of the void by chance objects. They are the demiurges. To bring out something from the void that urge also is gone totally. The demiurges lost their names and forms. These are the deities who give rise to names and forms when they work in the void through chance. By the mechanism of chance, they give rise to these forms, the demiurges. Even that urge has gone away to create something out of void, even if it be chance. Even that urge also has disappeared. The demiurges lost their names and form. The great skinned worlds, you see, the great skinned worlds are the part of the demiurge. All these creations have come out of this chaos because of them. They had planned and wrought past. So whatever has been created by chance through in the void, whatever has been created by chance in the void, that has also disappeared. That is the nirvana. Past, taken and abolished one by one.